Today, we're talking about something that so many women experience but don't always understand: the connection between your mind and your menstrual cycle. Hello, and welcome to The Midwife Says, where I share evidence-based facts about women's health, pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. My name is Melanie, and I am almost a licensed midwife in the state of Florida. If you've ever had a late period during a stressful time, missed ovulation, or just felt like your hormones were all over the place when life got overwhelming, this is not in your head. Well, I mean, it kind of is, but in a very real and physiological way. So we're going to start with the science, what's actually happening in your brain and body, and then we'll break it down in a super simple, practical way so that you can understand what's going on in your own cycle. So let's get into it. All right, so let's start with the physiology, and hang with me because it's a little bit complicated, but I'm going to explain all of it afterwards. Your reproductive cycle is controlled by something called the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis, or the HPO axis. Think of this as a communication chain between three parts of your body: your hypothalamus, which is in your brain, your pituitary gland, which is also in your brain, and your ovaries. Here's how it works. Your hypothalamus releases a hormone called GnRH. That stands for gonadotropin releasing hormone. This tells your pituitary gland to release two really important hormones: LH, luteinizing hormone, and FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. Those hormones travel through your bloodstream to your ovaries, where they stimulate follicle development, ovulation, and production of estrogen and progesterone. So your brain is literally running your cycle. So now let's bring stress into the picture. When you experience stress, whether it's emotional, physical, or even something like lack of sleep, your body activates a different system called the HPA axis, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal glands. This system releases cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Here is the key point. The HPA axis is a stress system which can directly interfere with the HPO axis, the reproductive system. When cortisol levels are elevated, your hypothalamus can reduce or suppress the release of GnRH. And if GnRH is disrupted, LH and FSH don't get released properly. Remember, these are the hormones that trigger follicle production, which is essentially the egg before it becomes an egg, and luteinizing hormone, which is what makes ovulation happen. So ovulation can be delayed or not happen at all. Progesterone production drops because there's no need for it if there's no egg coming around to be fertilized, and your cycle becomes irregular. This is why stress can lead to late periods, missed periods, short cycles, or even worse, PMS. It's basically your body telling you, hey, now is not a safe time to reproduce, and biologically that makes sense. So let me try to break it down into plain English. Think of your brain as the CEO of your body, and your reproductive system, it's kind of like the operational department. So when life is calm, stable, and safe, your brain says, okay, we have the resources to support a cycle and possibly a pregnancy. But when stress hits, whether it's emotional stress like relationship issues or work stress, physical stress like an illness or overexercising, or even internal stress like undereating or poor sleep, your brain shifts into survival mode. In survival mode, reproduction is not a priority. So your brain basically presses pause on your cycle. That's why you might notice things like your period being late during a stressful month, skipping ovulation when you're overwhelmed, PMS feeling worse when your nervous system is fried. And this is really important. Your body isn't broken. It's responding exactly how it's designed to. Another way to think about it is like this. Your body is constantly asking, am I safe? Do I have enough energy? Is this a good time to support life? If the answer is no, your cycle will reflect that. So let's try to make this even more real. Think about a time when you were super stressed, maybe finals week in school, a big life transition, postpartum period after having babies, or even something like moving or a breakup. and suddenly your period is late or different. I remember in midwifery school, we used to compare cycle lengths all the time, and one of my friends had a 105-day cycle. Stress just does this to us, and that's not random. Or maybe you've seen this with clients or patients, athletes with intense training schedules losing their cycles, women under chronic stress having irregular periods, postpartum moms whose cycles take time to regulate. It's all the same mechanism. Even something like chronic low-level stress, not sleeping enough, always being on, constantly busy, can suddenly affect ovulation. And there's something a lot of women don't realize. You can still bleed monthly without ovulating regularly. So your cycle might look normal on the surface, but hormonally, it's not functioning optimally. So that was a lot of information, and what can we actually do with it? Because I don't want this to be like, okay, cool, stress messes up my cycle. Now what? Here's the thing. You don't need to eliminate stress completely. That's not realistic, but you can support your nervous system. Some simple, realistic ways to do that are this. Prioritize sleep. This is huge for hormone regulation. Eat enough, especially healthy fats and protein. Gentle movement instead of always high-intensity workouts. Women's bodies are different, and our bodies need different types of movement at different times of the month. Walking is fantastic. Fourth, get sunlight and time outside. Fifth, build in moments of calm during your day, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes. And honestly, awareness is powerful. Just understanding that your cycle is connected to your stress levels can help you be less anxious when your period is late, start noting patterns in your body, and supporting yourself instead of blaming your body. So let's try to bring it all together. Your brain and your reproductive system are deeply connected. Stress doesn't just affect your mood, it affects your hormones, your ovulation, and your cycle. Your body isn't working against you, it's trying to protect you. If this is something you've experienced, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Have you noticed your cycle changing during stressful times? And if you found this helpful, please don't forget to like and share with a friend who might need it. This helps YouTube know that this is valuable information and will recommend it to other people. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time.